Starting off, just a couple comments on Georgia Tech. Really proud of our guys. Saturday night, I felt like they were very focused and ready to play. First games are always difficult, not really knowing what to expect sometimes from your opponent, but I felt like our guys settled in and really made some good adjustments to what Georgia Tech was trying to do defensively. Really proud of the offensive line. They graded out very well, ran for over 400 yards and no sacks. We had 5 TFLs for -5 yards, and after going back and looking at the video, none of those TFLs were really on the offensive line, so those guys played well. Got a lot of guys, some good experience up front. I think we had 12 offensive linemen with 10 or more plays, so that was really good to be able to do that early in the year. Also really proud of the running backs. They ran hard and made some really big plays. And I think the wideouts did a really good job making a difference down the field, had some really big key blocks. So there's a lot of positives. You know, the biggest negatives were the 5 penalties and 3 turnovers. And those are things that we got to eliminate and get corrected, and we will. I think, you know, some of the biggest positives, you know, were how we responded after the turnovers. You know, you think about Travis's fumble, very next series, you know, takes it 90 yards to the house, and then Trevor's interception, you know, responds, goes down there, gets the guy knocked out of bounds, we hold him, and then next drive, you know, leads us on a 94-yard drive and throws a long touchdown there to T. So, you know, just like we tell our guys all the time, bad things are going to happen. It's how you respond to it and keep playing. I think we had a good example of that. Moving on to Texas A&M, obviously I have a lot of respect for them. Very good program, very strong defense. Their defensive coordinator, Mike Elko, is one of the best in the business. We've played him several years at Wake Forest, 2014 to 16, I believe, and then obviously last year at Texas A&M. You know, they finished the year last year 3rd in the country in rush defense, so that really tells you what they do. I know after one game, I think they're number 6 in the country in rush defense already. So they do a really good job up front, put a lot of pressure on your offensive line and tight ends. They're very long, athletic, can run. They've had to replace a few guys on that front 7, but very talented guys. And then the other thing that stands out is I think their secondary is one of the best we'll play all year. Very long. Their top 5 corners are all 6'2", 6'3". So very long, athletic guys that will challenge you. That'll be a big matchup for us going into the game. But I know our guys are excited. I think we're ready to get into the routine of a normal kind of game week and get ready to put all our focus on A&M. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach Trevor had the 2 interceptions. One he got pulled on, the other one he was trying to throw away. How good is it just to kind of get those out of his system before facing a team like A&M?
Yeah, you know, I think Trevor got fooled a little bit. You know, to be honest, the corner gambled and it paid off for him. You know, and that's something that Trevor will learn from and we can learn from and make some adjustments. And then really on the other one, he just has to throw the ball out of bounds and left it in play there. But, you know, I think anytime you go out there in your first game, there's going to be a lot of stuff to coach off of and learn from, and there definitely is. And we were able to do some of that Saturday, and whenever we brought the guys in Saturday morning, and we'll finish up some of those corrections this afternoon. But, you know, outside of a few of those things, it was really one of the more cleaner first games that we've had. But there's no doubt there's plenty for us to learn from and get better with.
After seeing the film, how good a game did Jackson Carman have?
Yeah, we were really pleased. He did a really good job. Obviously, he had a big block there on the 90-yard touchdown run by Travis. Was really patient and fit that up very well. But you know, I thought for his first time out there, he played really well. Looked like he belonged with those other 4 guys that have played a lot. So that was very positive. You know, there were several guys kind of getting their first opportunity to be in the mix. Also, DeAndre Overton, even though he might not have got a lot of opportunities with the ball, he did a really good job, graded a winner, and you know, played with a high motor and made a difference down the field blocking. And then, I think some of those freshmen coming in at wideout, tight end, running back, and even offensive line, is really good experience for those guys and something that'll be able to help them here as we move forward.
On Travis's TD run, everybody's talking about the block that Jackson Carman makes, but if you look on that tape, you see T. Higgins over off to the left really putting a lot of effort in. What does it say about a guy like T in a year like this, he's got to perform and show that much effort?
Yeah, I was really proud of those guys. That's something that they've really taken a big emphasis on in the off season. Is we know we have some dynamic guys in the backfield as running backs. We know we have what we think has potential to be a really good offensive line. So to be able to have some explosive plays in the running game, comes from our guys giving great effort down the field blocking. And we kind of went into the game with one mindset, knowing that we were going to run it, but really thinking that we were going to get some good one-on-one opportunities. I spent about 5 minutes of my meeting showing some of the two deep coverages that they really hadn't done a whole lot of in the past, and then that's what they ended up doing about 90% of the time. But I was really proud of really all those guys on the perimeter giving great effort, and T did a great job, had great technique, and really, if you watch the play, if it's just a stalemate, then they have a chance maybe to close in on Travis, but he really pushed the guy to the sideline, created some air for Travis to be able to get around that. So those are big-time positives, just like there's going to be certain games those running backs got to stay in there and take on that blitzing linebacker so we can deliver the ball to them downfield. So it works all together. But I was really pleased with those guys on the perimeter.
How much does it help in a game like this and to have already played a Power 5 school, already been in some difficult situations, already had to face some?
Yeah, there's no doubt we're playing one of the best teams in our schedule right here early on. I think the fact that we were able to open up with a conference opponent game one, and I think we know a little bit more about ourselves after game one. Obviously, we're still early part of the year, but there's no doubt that I think that's an advantage for us. And hopefully we'll be able to. We like to say that you make your best improvement from game one to game two. If the guys really, take on the coaching and things that we got to get corrected. So hopefully that'll be the case here this year.
Go back and watch last year's game against him. Did they defend Trevor any differently than they did Kelly when he was in there, or was it the same?
Yeah. Trevor didn't play a whole lot in that game. If you really go back and watch it, he just got thrown in there a few series. Obviously, kind of early in his freshman year, but I think they played us very similar to how they've, how Coach Elko's played us in the past whenever he was at Wake Forest. They like to bring a little bit more pressure whenever they play us and try to get the ball out. And I think they got, really good secondary that they feel confident in the back end. There wasn't really any striking difference last year in the way that they chose to play us. The best teams, whether it's an offense or a defense, you know who you are, and you don't really have to change that up. I think sometimes when you feel like you're at a disadvantage, then you feel that maybe you need to change it up and maybe be somebody that you're not. But, I expect them to be very confident in their defense and come in and play, really be who they are. And it's going to come down to the fundamentals, blocking and tackling and throwing and catching and defending passes and all those things. And it'll definitely be a good challenge.
Consider that they'll probably play a little press man. Is that going to be one of the most exciting matchups to watch your tall receivers against their tall corners in that one-on-one battle?
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's going to be a group that can challenge us, and we're going to have to play with great technique and really work on our releases because they are physical, they are long, they can really run, and that definitely will be a huge matchup in this game.
Made his first catch the other night. How do you grade him blocking?
Yeah, I think it was good for him to get out there for the first time, and he was where he was supposed to be most of the time. I think he can finish off some blocks a little bit better, but like you said, I was really pleased. I believe that was a drive that we scored a touchdown on, and that was a big catch for him out there. Just the improvement that he made from spring ball to fall camp, and now getting his opportunity. The very first game, he goes out there in a big situation and makes a play. I think that's something he can build on. And he and Davis Allen, I think, are going to be two really good players for us and be two guys we'll count on here this year.
This time last year, Justin Ross not a factor
Yeah, I was questioning myself as I was going back watching that video. I think the biggest thing last year, and I bring that up in my meeting room probably weekly because I'm always reminding Joseph Ngata and Frank Ladson and Brandon Spector just the importance of knowing the details of your routes and what you're doing. And anytime that, and those guys actually do a really good job of it, but anytime that maybe I catch them with a missed assignment or something in practice, I'll lean over there to Justin, who sits next to me in my meeting, and I say, Justin, tell them how many plays you played against Texas A&M. He'll say 1. So okay, so here you go. He ended up leading our team as a receiver and played 1 play last year against Texas A&M. I think, the biggest thing going in that type of game on the road in that type of environment, I just wanted to make sure that, he knew his assignments and all those things, and he was close, but I think sometimes as a coach, you're protective of your guys in games where any one play could be the difference of the game. If you run the wrong route and we throw a pick six, could be the difference in the game. So I think that was just kind of being sure that, and Justin was the guy we were moving around a little bit last year also, and obviously, he came on and had a great year, but, it definitely feels good knowing that, Trevor didn't play a whole lot last year and Justin didn't play a whole lot, and those are 2 guys coming back with experience that'll be 2 guys we'll definitely be leaning on in this game.